Hey everyone, welcome to my channel where we dive into true crime stories with heart and hope. Today we're unraveling a case that's as heartbreaking as it is shocking. Imagine a 29-year-old guy with a good job and a loving family. He's got everything going for him. Then he falls into an online fantasy, stealing hundreds of thousands of dollars and tearing his family apart in the worst way possible. This is the story of Grant Amato, a Florida man whose obsession turned deadly, leaving a trail of tragedy that still haunts us today. Comment what you think about this case in the chat below. Let's dive in. Grant Amato was born in 1989 in Orlando, Florida. The youngest of four brothers, he grew up in Chuluota, a quiet suburb with his parents Chad and Margaret Amato, and his siblings Jason, Cody, and two others. Grant was a bright kid with a knack for caring for others. Tall with a stocky build, short dark hair, and glasses, he had a boyish charm. He loved anime, especially Death Note, a show about a guy who plays God deciding who lives and dies. Grant saw himself in the main character, Light, a dangerous obsession he'd later admit to. After high school, he trained as a nurse anesthetist, a high-pressure job that paid well. By his late 20s, he was working at Advent Health, earning respect from colleagues. His family was tight-knit. Chad, a pharmaceutical salesman, and Margaret, a homemaker, doted on their boys. Cody, the middle brother, was Grant's best friend, a nurse too. Jason, the oldest, lived nearby. To outsiders, the Amatos were the perfect American family. But cracks were forming. In 2018, Grant's life started to spiral. He'd been struggling with loneliness, spending hours online in the gaming and anime forums. That summer, he stumbled across a live-stream cam site where models performed for tips. One model caught his eye. Sylvie, a Bulgarian woman with a warm smile and flirty charm. Grant was hooked. He believed Sylvie loved him, calling her his girlfriend, even though they'd never met. He created usernames like Light, pouring money into her streams to keep her attention. Night after night, he'd sit in his room chatting with her, racking up thousands in tips. To fund this fantasy, he began stealing from his family. He took out loans in Chad's name, drained Cody's savings, and swiped Margaret's credit cards. By late 2018, he'd stolen over $200,000, sending it all to Sylvie. His family had no idea how deep he'd fallen. That fall, Chad and Margaret noticed money missing. They confronted Grant, who admitted to stealing, but lied about the amount. Furious, they gave him an ultimatum: stop talking to Sylvie or leave the house. Grant promised to quit, but couldn't. He stole Margaret's phone to keep messaging Sylvie. In December 2018, the Amatos kicked him out, sending him to live with his Aunt Donna in Tampa. But Grant kept stealing even from Donna, forging checks to send more to Sylvie. Chad and Margaret enrolled him in a rehab program for internet addiction, hoping to save him. Grant checked in, but left early, claiming he was pointless. He moved back home in January 2019 under strict rules. No internet, no Sylvie. He seemed to comply, working odd jobs and keeping quiet. But inside, he was raging. On January 24, 2019, tragedy struck. That afternoon, Margaret was working in her home office. A computer log showed her last activity at 4:59 p.m. Prosecutors later said Grant shot her in the back of the head with a handgun. Around 4:30 p.m., Chad came home from work, and Grant shot him in the chest. Cody got home late that night after a nursing shift. Grant was waiting, shooting him execution style. He staged the scene to look like a murder-suicide, placing a gun near Cody's body to frame him. Chad was found with a holster on his right hip, but it was backward, impossible for a right-handed man to draw. 4 shell casings were scattered around. Grant cleaned up blood and left, driving Cody's car to a final act of theft. The next morning, January 25, 2019, Jason tried calling his family. No answer. Worried, he drove to the house and found the door locked. Inside, he saw Chad's truck, but no one answered. He called 911. Seminole County deputies arrived and found Margaret, Chad, and Cody dead. The scene looked staged but sloppy. Shell casings didn't match Cody's gun, and blood patterns were off. Detectives honed in on Grant. He'd left the house early that morning, claiming he went to a job, but his story crumbled. Phone records showed he'd been messaging Sylvie the night of the murders. His bank account was overdrawn, and he'd searched for quick cash online. A search of Cody's car found a gun with Grant's DNA. He was arrested on January 28, 2019, charged with 3 counts of first-degree murder. The investigation revealed a man consumed by fantasy. Grant denied the murders, insisting he was innocent, but evidence piled up. Prosecutors said he'd snapped when his family cut off his addiction to Sylvie. They found chat logs where he'd told Sylvie he was rich, promising her a future together. He'd lied to online friends about his wealth, flashing cash he didn't have. His Death Note obsession came up too. In a jail call, he told a documentary filmmaker he admired light's power to eliminate obstacles. It was damning. The defense argued police botched the scene, failing to check for fingerprints on doors or windows. They said investigators ignored other suspects, focusing only on Grant. But the jury didn't buy it. In July 2019, Grant stood trial in Seminole County. Prosecutors painted him as a cold killer who chose a cam girl over his family. Jason testified for the prosecution, heartbroken but firm. He said Grant had changed, becoming distant and angry. The defense called Jason back, pleading for mercy, saying Grant was a good brother before his obsession. On July 31st, 2019, the jury found Grant guilty of 3 counts of first-degree murder. They deliberated over 8 hours. The penalty phase was tense. Prosecutors pushed for death, showing photos of the crime scene. The defense begged for life, citing Grant's clean record and addiction. The jury couldn't agree on death, recommending life without parole. On August 12, 2019, Grant was sentenced to 3 consecutive life sentences. He showed no emotion. Jason glared at him from the gallery. Comment below what you think about the jury's decision. Should Grant have faced the death penalty? Grant's story didn't end there. In 2024, he made headlines again. Victoria Goodwin, the wife of Ghost Adventures star Aaron Goodwin, reached out to Grant in May 2024 after watching the docuseries Causal Plus, Alt Plus Desire. The 3-part Paramount Plus series dove into Grant's case with prison calls and new interviews. Victoria called Grant her pen pal, but their chats turned dark. She was having marital issues and shared Aaron's location with Grant, asking for updates on a hit. Grant allegedly contacted a man named Gordo to kill Aaron, offering $2,500 upfront and $11,000 total. Police seized Grant's contraband phone in prison, unraveling the plot. In April 2025, Victoria pleaded guilty to conspiracy to commit murder, getting 36 to 90 months in prison. Grant faces new charges, but details are pending. What do you think about Grant's latest crime? Drop your thoughts in the comments. The Amato case shook true crime fans. Causal Plus Alt Plus Desire, released April 16, 2024, became a hit praised for its deep dive into Grant's psyche. Filmmaker Colin Archdeacon spent 4 years talking to Grant, who admitted his obsession with Sylvie felt more real than his life. The series showed chat logs and Sylvie's perspective. She was just doing her job, unaware of Grant's delusions. Online sleuths on Reddit and X buzzed about the case. Some called Grant a monster, others saw him as a victim of loneliness. X posts in 2023 labeled him a family annihilator, shocked by his $200,000 theft. The case sparked debates about internet addiction and cam sites. Comment below. Do you think online platforms share blame for Grant's actions? Investigators had several theories about why Grant killed. First, obsession. Prosecutors said Sylvie was his world and his family was an obstacle. Chat logs showed he'd do anything for her. Another idea was financial pressure. Grant was broke, facing loans and family anger. Killing them might have been a twisted way to escape debt. Some wondered if mental health played a role. Grant had no diagnosed issues, but his Death Note fixation and detachment suggested deeper problems. A Reddit user compared him to incels driven by online fantasies. But no evidence showed he was violent before. Foul play by others was ruled out. No fingerprints or DNA pointed to anyone else. The defense's claim of a botched investigation fell flat. What theory do you believe? Share your take in the comments. The Amato family's loss is unimaginable. Jason, the surviving brother, moved away from Chuluota, trying to rebuild. He's spoken little publicly, but told reporters in 2019 he'd never forgive Grant. Margaret was a devoted mom who baked for her boys. Chad was a proud dad coaching Little League. Cody was a rising star in nursing, planning to marry his girlfriend. They deserve better. Their home, once full of laughter, is now a painful memory. If you know anything more about Grant's case, contact Seminole County Sheriff's Office at 407-665 5650. Your tip could shed light on lingering questions. Hey, if this story's got you gripped and you want more true crime, like Grant's, hit that subscribe button. I'm pouring my heart into these cases, and your support keeps us going. By subscribing, you'll join our community, digging into mysteries every week. Let's keep these stories alive. Comment what you think about Grant's obsession below. Grant's case left a mark. True Crime, Garage, and Court TV covered it, reaching millions. The Coddle Plus, Alt Plus Desire docuseries trended on Paramount, plus sparking posts about Grant's coldness. Some fans called him a cautionary tale of internet addiction. Others saw a selfish killer. In 2020, jail calls released by Court TV showed Grant chatting calmly with a producer about his case. He appealed his convictions in August 2019, but the appeal was denied in 2021. He's now at Tomoka Correctional Institution in Daytona Beach, serving life. The murder-for-hire plot keeps his name in the news. Victoria Goodwin's arrest shocked Ghost Adventures fans. Posts in 2025 called their pen pal story sickening. Comment what you think about Grant's prison behavior. Is he still dangerous? The Amato's story is a warning. Online worlds can pull you in, but at what cost? Grant chose a fantasy over his family, leaving Jason to carry the pain. Margaret, Chad, and Cody's lives were cut short for nothing. Their story lives on in true crime circles, urging us to check on those we love. Share this video to keep their memory alive. Comment your thoughts on how we can prevent tragedies like this. To Jason Amato, your strength is inspiring. Losing your family is unthinkable, but you keep going. Margaret, Chad, and Cody were more than victims. They were a mom who made every holiday special, a dad who cheered at every game, a brother who dreamed of a family of his own. We honor them by sharing their story. If you have any information, call Seminole County Sheriff's Office at 407-665-5650 or submit a tip online. Your lead could bring justice to new questions in this case. To the Amato family, we're with you. We hope for healing and answers. Thanks for sticking with me through Grant's story. If you love true crime as much as I do, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. By joining our community, you'll get gripping mysteries every week that make you think. Your support means everything, and I can't wait to share the next case with you. Comment your biggest takeaway from this case below. Let's keep these stories alive together.